there's people online having 3 jobs and still struggling. And in this video, we're going to go through what it takes to come out of this recession that we're in, how to come out of it, how to do better, and how to actually survive it. And we're going to kick this video off with this woman basically talking about her 3 jobs. So let's watch it.
I have 3 jobs and I'm still struggling. I am a teacher. I tutor after school. I just got through with one of my tutoring sessions actually, and I also make content. I have one full-time job with full benefits and then 2 part-time/contract jobs, and I am still struggling. The solution is not to get a 4th job. There's something wrong with this world. Something has got to give to where we live in a world where people can work multiple jobs and they're still struggling. What does that say? Like, the solution isn't you need another job or you're just lazy and you don't want to work. We're working multiple jobs. What more do we have to do in order to live comfortably in this world? I think it's ridiculous.
So when I see people like this on the internet talking about, I'm struggling, I have 3 jobs, I just can't make it, and they're trying better themselves, I always think about Justin Musk's Quora post. So somebody asked Justin Musk, will I become a billionaire if I'm determined and I'm going to do whatever it takes? And Justin Musk says, no, that's not going to happen because of a few reasons. And she goes on and says, if you're going to get washed up in from shark infested waters, washed up, beaten up, bloody, and a desert on a deserted island, can you then still get the courage to keep on going when all that happens to you? And so this is just some of the stuff that she said, that you have to go through to push through these boundaries, to push through the next level. And I know not everybody can do that, and not everybody is interested in becoming that amount of wealthy. And so when I look at content, I'm looking at what people are doing, and I'm looking at where do people want to go. I look at a simple. Uh, I look at a simple equation, and for me, it's the airport bottle equation. So what does that mean? It looks to me like when you buy a water bottle at Walmart, it's $1.90. It's 99 cents. But as soon as you pass through TSA and you're at the airport and you're at the gate and you walk past one of these kiosks, a bottle sells for $10. So either it's a more fancy bottle or the pool of people have already been vetted after the gate that they're willing to pay a higher price because they're thirsty or something else. So if you're in a situation like that, what you got to do is you got to figure out, where do I position myself in the market in order to make more money? What value do I bring? How do I do better? How do I become wealthier? How do I become the next version, the next better version of myself? Because a lot of people just say, I'm just going to go to work and do the 9 to 5. And once I get a stimulus check, I spend it all on brand new cars and boats and everything. And I make content like this all the time where I said, make sure you don't spend your stimulus checks. Make sure your car's not going to get repo during the downturn in the recession. And I was right. A lot of people spent their money on new cars. They spent the money and they lost. They lost their cars. They lost their livelihood because they thought, I'm untouchable. Why change anything? Let's just keep on repeat. And they didn't gain new skills. They didn't contribute to projects that were crucial to the company. And so then they got booted. And now we're at a situation where car dealers are looking at this. So let's watch this one. But before we watch this video, please like and subscribe. I make content like this all the time. So if you do that, that would really help out my channel.
Let's talk about September. I don't think I've seen more 480 credit scores this month than I've seen in my whole entire car sales career. I actually had a PR this month. I saw the lowest credit score I've ever seen. Y'all want to know what it was? A 388. I'm currently sitting at 10 and a half units. I hit the 10 mark by the skin of my teeth. And you know why I hit the 10? It's because one of my gracious customers came back and bought another car. God is good. Amen. And I work for a used car dealership. We're usually pumping, okay? We are selling about 150, 175 cars a month, right? Right now we're at 130. We're a little bit behind. And no thanks to me, but it's definitely been a weird month.
And so you're seeing it. People's credit scores getting dinged, repos not paying back their Starbucks loans, not paying back their loans that they've taken out, and all of a sudden you see those credit scores drop, and then their cars get repoed. Now they're trying to get into another one, low credit scores. They're in trouble. And this is what I'm telling you guys all the time. You got to fix yourself. You got to contribute to AI, to your company's necessary projects, because we're looking at, look at that, 32,000 jobs negative. So that means that this is from CNN. So probably the number's more like double or triple that. And I know people in my friends circle, I think it's about 25% been fired or looking or taking a break because they're like, I don't want a job search right now. And so I'm just taking a break, and they're taking a year off or something like it. And 32,000. So crazy that we're not making any jobs. And this is just reality of 2025. We're just in it so thick that you got to be asking your company, what are the crucial projects? Let me involve myself into those projects in a nice, cordial way, because I have many people that say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ride it out. I'm not going to have to use AI. I'm not doing all this. And now we're seeing that you have to learn AI. If you're not going to be learning AI, you're going to get kicked faster than you'd ever believe. Why? Let's check this article out. What is this article? Medicare will start paying AI companies a share of any claims they automatically reject. Hmm. Okay. So how do you fight AI? You use AI. So go and get a subscription to an AI tool and start learning. Start learning the ins and outs of it. Because if you're not going to be learning, trust me, in your company, the cubicle next to you, when you look over and you're like, yeah, you're drinking coffee today? Yeah, he's working on it. Or they or them or whatever you want to call it. He's working on a tool, and he's probably like, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this guy because he's been bugging me. And let's see if I can propose this to my department or to my boss's boss. This AI tool is going to make my whole department obsolete. They only need one or two people. Hopefully it's going to be me. And yeah, what are you going to do then? You're sitting outside the curb, you're sitting outside on the curb thinking about, man, how did life pass me by? What happened? How did I get fired? What just happened? And this is why you got to learn. You got to be a continuous learner. Be curious what's going on in the market. Read news. Watch the other side. Watch the other political eyes. See what they're doing. And I know people are so hostile against everything now. Just look at it. Because at the end of the day, you, me, watching this, we're not market makers. No, we're the small little bait fish that run around in the ocean, and there's way bigger sharks like Nvidia, like government agencies and everything else. And so what we need to do is we need to use every little scrap that we can get to skate by. And this is what I constantly tell people. Make sure you better yourself. Read some books, network like crazy, make sure that your LinkedIn is updated, that you can then say, you know what, I'm going to apply to a few jobs and I don't have to apply to 10,000 jobs and get rejected from all of them, because man, that does something to your morale. But yeah, and let's watch this guy talk about what he recommends us. And this guy made the most amazing TED talk or TEDx talk. I can't remember. And you should go watch it and just talk and just start following him and see what he says about young people. Start looking and learning rather than watching your favorite social media influencer getting engaged and going to football games and doing all kinds of stuff. Listen to what this guy says so you can do in your 30s and 40s, and then afterwards you can do whatever you want.
Instead of buying a bigger flat screen or a bigger TV or maybe a bigger house, what if I started saving 10, 15, 20, 30% of my salary and I got wealth by the time I'm 40 or 45? Because to be in America, young and healthy and have passive income that's greater than your burn, you're just going to have a wonderful life.
So that is the journey that I've been on, and I've been telling you guys now for 2 years that this is what I highly recommend you guys do. But I see it all the time. People aren't interested in self-development. They don't want to learn. They don't want to learn new skills. They don't want to do any of that. And then comes to find out that all of a sudden they're without a job, and then they have to reinvent themselves. They have to get a resume from scratch again because they haven't touched it for 10, 15 years. And then it's like, oh my gosh, now I got to do all that. And all of a sudden it's like, I should have just kept working on it for an hour every quarter and just kind of update it, see what my company's projects are. Let me read some of the statement that they send out to make sure that when I have conversations in the elevator with some VPs that I know what they're talking about. I know the vision, I know the goals. Because it's going to look really stupid if you don't even know where your organization's going, and to be an early adopter of something or be into the movement that these vice presidents and higher want to portray. And these are not popular opinions. These are the opinions of people that own companies. And if you're like, I don't want to do none of that, it is what required. You saw the job numbers, and it's not getting better. I've seen people 8, 9 months trying to job search. Do you want to be like that, or invest a little bit of your free time to read up about that so you can have a conversation? You can read those emails and look at it like, maybe this is something I should do. Or maybe you're like, you know what? I'm out of here. If they fire me, I'm heading into retirement and then I'm out. But then you saw what they're talking about Medicare with AI. So regardless of where you're at, you have to be using it because they're going to auto deny you with AI. What better way to to appeal it with AI? What better way to appeal your Medicare request with AI? But you have to know how to do it. And you rather learn how to do it with small stakes rather than the big ones where it's like, oh my gosh, I need this treatment, but they denied me. So it's rather you start dabbling in it when it comes to sending a letter, sending something else, or making or uploading this, making spreadsheets, doing all that. But people just it's crazy the amount of people that just go out, finance crazy cars. Then all of a sudden, pink slip handed to you. Oh, crazy. Now what do I do? Well, let's use AI. Let's send out 2,000 resumes in a week and hopefully one sticks. It doesn't work like that. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the effort. You got to you got to make sure that you're being recognized for you and not for what AI just kind of came up and made and everything else. So, yeah, we're living in crazy times. There's a hell of a lot of opportunity, but especially in the United States, but you need to be able to get those and you need to put yourself in a position where these opportunities, you're even in the room where these opportunities are being spoken. Because I said it before, most of the time people don't want to talk to Nancy, to negative Nancy, and they don't want to speak to racist Bob either. No, they want to talk to some normal guy that understands it. And it's like, you know what? I can leave differences aside and we can have a conversation about whatever is going on. But when I hear people talk about politics at work, I hear people talk about all kind of crazy stuff. And then I'm like, man, other people can hear you in the office. And at the end of the day, unless you're working for a political organization, it's like, man, you're not being paid enough to give those opinions. Just sip it. Not everything that the company does or not everything that the higher executive does, you as a middle level employee have to give your input to and be like, I'm going to practice my right of free speech and I'm going to chime in. No, just sip it, let them do their thing, and you're just happy to get this paycheck because I'm telling you, if you're not going to get that paycheck and you're going to be unemployed for 8, 9 months, I hope those few $1,000s that most of Americans have in their savings account is going to carry them through that. No, probably won't. And unemployment, those $500 a week aren't going to cover anything because car payment, car insurance going up, electricity's going up, everything else is going up. So those $500 has basically been eaten up by just inflation. And so what do? You better yourself. I'm always saying in my content, better your next step. Make sure that the next step you're going to take is one in the right direction with a good attitude, with a nice collar shirt, and not just something that's been stained on, that's been sweaty for a week, and you go in and you smell 5 miles against the wind. No, make sure that you're dressed nicely, that you're nice, approachable, that you're like, yeah, I can help you out with that, and all kinds of stuff. And you will see that the world around you changes, that your attitude, how you act to others changes you, and all of a sudden opportunities will come. And they might say, hey, we have this office party. Do you want to come? Do you want to be a contributor? All of a sudden you meet with other people, you meet with executives, and all of a sudden you're on the track of the career track of your organization, and there's going to be more opportunities coming. But it starts with your change first. And people hate that. People hate change. People don't want to do it. They've been doing it for years. So why do anything? And 2025 is different though. 2026 is going to be even crazier. And so this is what I've been telling for a very, very long time. Don't get into debt that you don't have an exit strategy. I've seen people get into car debt, $20,000, $30,000 above asking price for Yukons, Tahoes, for Kia Tellurides and everything else because the car the car market was crazy and I had to go out and buy. And I was like, here, just take my money, just take my money. All of a sudden, comes to find out, wasn't so smart after all. And now you can go back and you're like, oh, I can get that Kia 10, $15,000 off asking price, off of MSRP. And I've paid how much? I paid 20 grand more. And I've been making payments, but my balance is still higher. And now if I want to trade that car in, I'm 30,000 upside down. So I might as well just let the bank have it, ding my credit and get another one. And this is just crazy. Don't be like that. Think a little bit. Big decisions take time. And nobody's going to fault you if you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to stick with my car longer with this purchase, with this $5,000, $10,000 cruise I'm going to take. I'm just going to sit on it a little bit longer and I'm just going to take care of what I got going on now because maybe my job's not so safe. Maybe my company is talking about layoffs over the holidays. And it wouldn't be the first time that companies did layoffs right before Christmas, right after Thanksgiving. And if you are job searching, I'm telling you, it is now time to put it into high gear before Thanksgiving, because after that, holidays, PTO that companies have when they say, it's a use it or lose it policy, and they say, oh, you can't take it over. So it's a really good time for you to just over those holidays bridge the gap and take some time and do it all. Because another thing is that companies don't want to carry those overtime, and so they say, you know what, if the company's not doing so well, they're saying, it's forced 2 weeks vacation over the holidays or something else. That means the whole company's on vacation. And then all of a sudden you're starting to notice, like, okay, something's not right, have to do it. And yeah, make sure you put your best step forward, be positive, whatever comes, and then don't go online crying, being saying, I should have just joined a union or something else. You in the United States have the opportunity to open up the competitor. You can basically go today, lease a spot. I read today that Starbucks is closing 7 locations in Las Vegas. And so what you can do is, if you love unions so much, you can actually go out and lease those locations, and they'll probably give you an insane deal. And then you can say, you know what, I'm going to pay my barista $100 an hour, and I'm going to unionize them all. And they can be a union, and you will then see, oh, the market only bears so much for a coffee, and I've misjudged everything. And this is the fine line that business owners and employees need to walk. How much can the market bear for my skills, for my talent? And yeah, this is how it goes in corporate America or corporations in general. So yeah, this was kind of it from Las Vegas. Man, it's October 1st, and this is gorgeous blue sky. And we are out and it is warm outside. Man, how blessed am I? Blue sky, no rain, no clouds. Gosh, living the dream. And I hope that all my viewers are living their own dream, that they designed their own life in a way that you're not miserable and you're like, I want out of here, because then it is time for you to make the changes in order to be happy and pursue happiness. But yeah, this is it. I mean, how can it get better? It's nice, warm out, getting vitamin D, walking, getting my steps in every day. And yeah, let me know what you guys got. And if you want to see these videos before anybody else. I think I'm a day or so ahead. And so if you want to see these videos before everybody else and have conversations, maybe you want to become a channel member, just something to kind of think about. So with that said, I'm going to end this video and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.